Black-eyed children, black-eyed kids, or sometimes just referred to as BEKs. Now, let me first start off saying I've never had a run-in with these entities, and to be honest, from reading all the stories, I hope I don't. There is something about this subject in the paranormal realm that, is quite interesting. Now, there's a lot of debate whether these are real, whether these are fake. I'm in the middle about it, so I can believe that quite a few stories are possibly misidentifications or just outright hoax. But there is something that seems to be more substantial to it, and obviously if you do go around reading the research, the encounters and stuff, you'll find that there seems to be something a bit more to it than just stories. Now, encounters with black-eyed children have been hitting the internet since about the 1990s. It started with a chilling story of an encounter with two young males. Brian's encounter is definitely one worth reading. It's one of the very detailed reports and encounters, and it was one of the first ones to hit the internet. Now, there have been reports predating this that have come forward, obviously, where people have gone onto the internet at a later age and reported things, but it's a very well documented one. Now, after combing through all the stories and reports of black-eyed kids, there are several traits that seem to define, black-eyed children and the encounters. Now, they normally travel in pairs. Now, most encounters with black-eyed kids are with two of them. Why this is, I don't know. Maybe it takes two of them to take down their prey. I'm not really sure. One is usually a speaker, while the other one normally stands quietly, whereas the other one seems a bit more overconfident, especially for the age that they seem to be reported at, especially when talking to adults, which when I was at their age, I would never have spoken to an adult so confidently. So in that case, there seems to be two of them that go along. It could be that one is focusing on a mental attack while the other one's doing verbal communication to try and, distract the victim and stuff like that. Now, they always appear in a youthful form. In most reports, the pair of kids are reported to be 10 to 16 years old. Now, they can be both male and female. There are reports of younger kids, but they are a lot less common. And there are even some that appear as adults as well, but again, they're less common. Normally it's between the ages of 10 to 16. Now, why it's that age? Can't be sure right now. I have my own thoughts on it to do with the fact that if we're going to see a 10-year-old asking for help, then, we're more likely to help them than we are an adult, and I think that's part of what plays on it. Another thing that goes along with what I've just said, obviously, about it being a younger kid and more likely to help, is the fact that they always insist on getting your permission. Now, they always seem to need permission to enter your home or your car, or to help you with something, or for you to help them. And it's in a way that you must invite them into your lives. Now, why that is, no one's sure. It does kind of sound like the classic vampire traits that have been reported in some vampire legends, where you'd have to invite the vampire or spirit in. And so far, all the stories seem to confirm that they do require your permission, or you to invite them into the house to use the phone, or whatever the story is. And I think this links into their age. Again, if it's an older person and they're asking for help, you're less likely to help them. But if you see a 10-year-old who seems genuinely upset and they want to use your phone, you're more likely to help them. And I think that's part of the hook to get you to, go into it. Now, as far as I'm aware, most people have always refused. I'm not aware of any stories or any outcomes where people have said, yes, please come in. Hopefully that story will never come, and if it does, hopefully it won't be so bad. Or they just never get around to telling their stories, sadly. But hopefully it's just that, upon seeing the black eyes of the children, that people just instantly go into a lockdown mode where they're going, right, we're sorry, we'd help you normally, but not this time. They seem to be psychic as well. Another common element among black-eyed kids' stories is that they seem to know what we are thinking and will show it by answering questions before we ask them, or just as we're asking them, or literally just as we've asked them, which would be quite hard for normal people to do if you were asked a question. Or they seem to be anticipating our actions. This is very bad because obviously it means that they're in our heads, or they can have the ability to read our thoughts or pick up on them. And that also makes it a bit of a problem, as they seem to know what we're going to do next, sometimes before we do. They have been encounters, and a common thing with the encounters is that they find us opening doors for them. So it's almost as if they can compel our actions to help them move, open doors, kind of without us thinking about it. And it's not only until we kind of see their eyes and we get that fear that we do then shut down and go, no, something seems to kick in us that overrides that. But they do seem to be able to compel our actions. Now, obviously, as the name states, and it's obviously where the name comes from, the one defining trait about these children when you encounter them is the black eyes. There's no iris, there's no white element, nothing. They are just bottomless black orbs. Now, people have claimed that they're just kids with contact lenses, or a condition where there is a medical condition where this can happen. And it could explain some of them, it certainly would explain some, but it seems to go, the actual reports that you read seem to go just beyond someone, talking to someone who has this or wishing to creep them out. Another common thing, but not as common, is the fact that they seem rather pale, and they also always seem to try and hide their eyes as well. They don't seem to want to let us see their eyes. Maybe this is a way to try and make it so we don't see what they truly are. And their clothing is normally unusual, sometimes very old and drab, can sometimes look very old-fashioned or even handmade. And this goes along with a strange manner of their speaking, showing that they don't seem to have a grasp of human mannerisms as well, which is another common thing. They always seem to, be out of touch with the modern world. They somewhat remind me and others, actually, because other people have mentioned this, that they seem to be about the stories of the Men in Black that happened around the 50s and 60s, where they were out of touch with humans. They didn't seem to get our mannerisms. They used to speak quite robotic and over about the same things, sometimes insignificant things as well. So who or what are the Black-Eyed Kids? That's probably the biggest question out there right now. The origins for them is completely unknown as to what species they really are as well. Considering they can influence our minds, it's quite likely that they may not actually look like humans in their true form. It could be that they're some sort of psychic entity. The current theories on them range from demons to aliens, but considering all the reports are modern, it could be that there's some sort of unearthly alien origin, and that seems to be where people are going more towards. But again, why would they ask to be invited into your home is an interesting one. But they do seem to be targeting humans in the respects that, they don't seem to be going up. There's no encounters where they're going after animals or anything like that. Whereas with aliens, there are lots of cattle mutilation reports and things like that. Now, what they want from us is a good question. I don't think anyone can really answer that. I don't think it's a warm, fuzzy hug or anything. Normally, what they want is something that seems random, so it's to use a phone or to get a lift somewhere. That seems to be the starting element of it. What goes beyond that, no one's ever reported, thankfully. No one really knows. It's open to a lot of speculation. It seems to be that they need some sort of permission to enter your life, enter your house, enter your car. And the best thing to do, obviously, is to say no. Now, if you ever encounter a Black-Eyed Kid, I would highly not recommend taking that opportunity to do research and, find out more about them. It's probably best just to lock your doors, get away from them. Don't let them into your house, car or mind, just keep saying no. Obviously, if it's a genuine person in need, if you have to, contact your local police or medical professionals, if someone obviously requires that. But if you're in true fear of your life and you don't feel safe, the best thing you can obviously do is, just don't talk to them, lock your doors, get away from them. If you've ever had an encounter with a Black-Eyed Kid, please comment on this video below. If you've liked the video, please like and subscribe for more information on Black-Eyed Kids and all things paranormal. And please share with your friends. Thank you very much.